Welcome to my channel.
Channel that contains real stories that exist around us. Enjoy watching. It was a rainy Friday night when Claire's parents left for a weekend trip, leaving her in charge of the house. She was used to being alone. She'd done it many times before, but this time felt different. The wind howled outside and the storm rattled the windows. Claire was curled up on the couch with a blanket scrolling through her phone when she heard it. 3 slow knocks at the front door. Knock, knock, knock. She froze. It was nearly midnight, and she wasn't expecting anyone. She tiptoed to the window but saw nothing. No car, no person, just sheets of rain. When she opened the door, no one was there, only the wet welcome mat. But as she turned to close it, she noticed something small on the floor, a Polaroid photo of her house, taken from the outside. Trying to shake off the unease, Claire locked the door and went back to the couch. But half an hour later, the knocks came again. 3, slow, deliberate. She didn't answer this time, just peered through the curtains. Again, no one. But another Polaroid lay on the mat. This one was of her, sitting on the couch taken from outside the living room window. Her chest tightened. She checked every lock in the house, double-checking the back door and the basement. Everything was secure. She tried calling her parents, but the storm had killed the cell signal. The power flickered and went out. The only light came from her phone's flashlight. The rain outside masked most sounds, until she heard footsteps upstairs. Slow, heavy, moving from her bedroom toward the top of the stairs. "Who's there?" she called, but only silence answered. She gripped a kitchen knife and edged toward the stairs, shining the light upward. No one. Then she heard the footsteps again, this time behind her. She spun around, but the hallway was empty. Her breathing was ragged as she backed into the kitchen. That's when she noticed something on the counter that hadn't been there before. Another Polaroid. It was her, standing at the top of the stairs, holding the knife. Exactly as she had been seconds ago. In the dark, a whisper slithered into her ear. "Don't turn around." Her whole body locked up. The air behind her felt cold, like the space was being swallowed. The whisper came again, this time from the other side. "You look better in person." She ran. Through the living room toward the front door, but it wouldn't open. No matter how hard she pulled, it stayed shut. She turned to grab the keys from the hook and froze. Every wall in the living room was now covered in Polaroids. Every single one was of her, some taken from the front, some from behind, and some of her sleeping. A flash of lightning illuminated the room, and in that split second she saw him, a tall, gaunt figure standing in the corner, head tilted unnaturally, holding a Polaroid camera. His face was pale and stretched into a permanent smile, lips cracked and eyes too wide. The flash went off again, and for a heartbeat everything went black. When the light returned, she was no longer in the living room. She was standing outside in the rain, looking at her house through a window. Inside, she saw herself on the couch, blank-eyed, still, like a doll. From behind her came the familiar whisper, "Smile." The camera clicked, and Claire finally understood that she was no longer alone at home. Evan had just moved into an old rental house in a quiet Ohio neighborhood. The landlord told him the place had been empty for over a decade, but he didn't care. It was cheap, and he needed space to work on his writing. On his first night, as he unpacked boxes, his phone buzzed. The number was unknown. He answered anyway. "Hello?" A woman's voice whispered, "I've been waiting for you." He hung up immediately, figuring it was some prank. But a moment later, the house phone, an old rotary in the hallway, started ringing. Evan didn't even know the house phone worked. He lifted the receiver. "You're in my room," the same voice said, almost a sigh. "Don't move." The line went dead. He laughed nervously. Maybe it was the landlord messing with him. He walked around, checked the locks, and tried to focus on writing. But as he typed, he heard faint murmurs, like someone speaking inside the walls. When he pressed his ear to the plaster, the whispers stopped. Then, from directly behind him, a voice said, "I can hear you breathing." The next evening, rain hammered the roof. Evan was reading in the living room when a door slammed upstairs. He didn't have any pets. No one else had keys. When he went up to check, he found a door he didn't remember seeing before at the end of the hallway. Its old brass knob was ice cold. He opened it. Inside was a narrow, dust-choked room. In the center sat an old rotary phone, identical to the one downstairs, except this one was ringing. Against every instinct, he picked it up. The woman's voice was clearer now, almost tender. "Don't look outside. He's there." Confused, Evan turned toward the window, just in time to see a tall, shadowy figure standing in his front yard. No face, no features, just a human outline utterly still in the rain. The line crackled. "He's not patient." Then the voice added something that froze him to the marrow. "He used to be me." Thunder shook the glass. The figure in the yard began walking toward the house, slow, deliberate steps through the mud. The downstairs rotary phone began ringing again. Then the upstairs one. Then his cell phone. All three rang in unison. Over the noise came knock, knock, knock at the front door. Panicking, Evan answered the upstairs phone. "Open it," the woman urged. "Let him in. It's the only way out." Heart-pounding, Evan went downstairs and unlocked the door. The figure stepped inside, dripping rain onto the carpet. Slowly, it raised a hand and touched his face. Ice cold, fingers too long, nails black. Its shape shifted, melting into a tall, pale man with Evan's exact face, only older. The woman's voice came from behind him now, warm and close to his ear. "You understand, don't you? He leaves when you take his place." Evan turned to find himself staring at an old, dust-covered rotary phone mounted to the wall, where no phone had been before. The receiver lifted on its own. From outside the house through the rain, he saw himself standing motionless in the yard, watching through the glass. And then the phone rang.